Today I'm going to be talking about Facebook, Instagram, and when customers message you. As a plumber like myself, they will say, hey, I need a tap fitted in. I live in Finsbury Park. It's a tap for my kitchen. How much would you charge? We charge anything starting from 120 up to 160, depends what type of tap it is, blah de blah. Oh, that's a bit expensive, because the handy person around my area, they say they can do it for £60. I'm not a handy person. I went to college. I have years of experience. I run a business, and I don't tell people that I run a charity, because dealing with anyone from the public here and telling them that you don't run a charity just sounds cheeky from the start. It lets things start off with like, oh, you thought I was cheap. They're going to see what I do and just how I represent myself and know it's not cheap. So I refrain from saying those types of things because I know it gets into a back and a forth. I have said them in the past. I don't say them now because I just realised that it's just not necessary for the conversation. You be straight up with people and they will always say to you, oh, well, this person said they'll do it for cheaper. Well, I'm not that person, and I don't feel that I have to explain that I'm not that person. I just have to say to you that this is how much it costs. It's a yes or it's a no. Understandable, people want to haggle the price nowadays. But with specific tradespeople like plumbers who just specifically do plumbing, there are a lot of gear. There are a lot of money that we have to spend out, even to run a business. Not that anybody cares apart from the person who's profiting from it, but it's the reality. And when you're talking with people through social media, sometimes they expect you to just jump at that opportunity, or yeah, well, they said they could do it for £60, so I've got £60. So if you can do it, you can do it. Well, I obviously can't, because I told you it starts at 120. So I don't know where the rest of the money is going to come from. But what I'm not going to do is repeat what I'm saying out loud to them in a text message. I don't know where the rest of the money is going to come from. I'm just going to say it's 120. If you tell me £60, again, I don't need to reply, because I said 120. And that's like sticking to your guns. I think a lot of handymen and people that do odd jobs and sods, they don't have the same outgoings, or neither do they have the same level of experience as someone who is specifically in one trade. But I think some tradespeople take that personally when people say stuff like that to you, and you get your back up a little bit, but don't, because everyone can't afford something, which is understandable. And through my own experiences, I've been on my Instagram, someone's messaged me, said, oh, we got this leak on this sink, could you come and fix it? Yeah, I can come and fix it. What day would you like me to book it in? I could book it in this day. Oh, you need to speak to my manager about payment and stuff like that. So I would pause on it and I would speak to the manager and ask them what's their method of payment. When they told me 28 days, I have the choice to go forward with the job and complete the job and then come and get the payment later. That's something that I personally do not do at the moment, and I won't be doing for a while, because I've had my years of chasing customers for money. It's not nice. It's not something I want to do. If I want to go out on Friday night, get a couple of bottles of champagne, I can't, because you still owe me that money. It's on my head. I just don't want to do nothing. Champagne and strawberries just don't taste the same when I ain't got that 120 from you. That's all I have to say to myself. And I've realised that over the time, we've got more and more handymen, people who pick up these jobs through a load of these platforms, which is great because it creates more revenue, and it also creates more jobs when they fuck up. Because sometimes it happens, right? And there's a job which is too big, They pay one person, it doesn't get fixed properly. They pay another person, doesn't get fixed again. And then they come to the tradesperson and pay them the rate, which seems like it's expensive. But if you double up those other two, sprinkle a little bit on top, it's around the same type of price. I get that customers and clients are trying to look for the cheapest way and the most feasible way for them. But sometimes it doesn't align with the people who are actually in the trade. And I just don't think that we all need to get our backs up about it, because it's just a bit of scratch at the end of the day. I know that's the sole purpose of the reason why we all go to work for, is to get that scratch, which is referred to as money for you who don't live in London. So getting that scratch is always important, but also keeping your level of confidence and coolness when dealing with people. You know, I've had that same customer who told me they'll pay me in 28 days. Oh, if you don't do the job, I'm going to write you a bad review. I said, go ahead, because there's no work which I've physically done for you. All I've done is come and had a look for free, which I've not charged you for. And then you're going to write a review because I told you I don't want to do the work. This is where I have a problem with that. Because again, I don't go out and do jobs and quote for things for free, because there's no time for free. I've got to pay insurance. I've got to pay a lot of things. Road tax, fuel, running a business. All of this costs money. Nobody sees that cost apart from the person who's paying it. And I don't walk around telling people, I've paid this, I've paid that, I've paid this. They don't care. Nobody cares. I care about getting on, doing the job, making the money. Thumbs up to my customer. Great job. Call me if you need anything more. That's what I want to be like. But in this world of putting yourself out there, being on platforms, being on certain news boards, which might be your local area and stuff like that, you will see these jobs pop up. People will suggest you as a plumber, as a tradesperson who is recommended in your area, which is a great thing, you know, but you have to stay true to yourself to maintain a level of business when it comes to running a business nowadays. You can't be someone who's willing to say, okay, I'll do it for 60 and okay, I'll match that price. I ain't Tesco's. We ain't going to match any prices. My price is going to be the price. And I understand if it's not for you, but I'm not going to entertain much more conversation with people which is going down a dead end. You know, like, it is a dead end of conversation, because granted, you don't want to pay, and that's fine. I'm not going to try and force you. I'm not going to try and reinforce why you should be paying me through my skills or my expertise. If I have the time to explain what I'm going to do, I definitely do. I make sure that if I'm going to do a quote or look into a job, I'm going to spend at least half an hour on it so I can put my input on it and do the right research, so I'm getting the right average price for materials or my labor due to your area, because you can find all of these things out. It's not hard. But sometimes I feel like the customer feels like they're right all the time because they're paying. But if that's the case, then we're not going to get into a back and forward. I'm just going to say, this is not for me, respectfully. And even sometimes when you do that, you can leave a bitter taste in someone's mouth because they say, oh, I want you to do it. I wanted you to do it. When I've seen telltale signs, like people saying, like I recently looked at a bathroom and they needed some timber for a framing. And I said, well, the timber's about this much. You can look at Travis Perkins or look at whoever you want to buy the timber. But timber's expensive, right? My quotation for the job was just to do with the labour. if he wanted to pick up the timber and get all of the stuff there, we would fit it. That was the quote. Oh yeah, but how much would you charge me to go and get the timber? Well, how far is the shop? Where is it? What shop are we talking about here? So Pacifics definitely matter. And then going back and forward over the timber about how much we could charge him, and him being okay with us charging him 60, 70 pounds to go and pick up the timber. At that point, I realised, yeah, let's not do this job, because 60, 70 pounds, the labour is near enough £3,000. So what's the problem with paying the 60, 70 pounds? Everything's going to be done within the time frame which you've asked. At times, I feel like we have these Spider-Man senses where we get tingling to say, this person's going to be a little bit difficult. I don't really fancy that type of challenge today. So I remove myself from those types of individuals. It's not to say that I come across them all the time. And if I can be more accommodating, I do, because I'm not running a youth centre. I'm running a business. I'm running a business where you have to be flexible for your customers at some point, but you also have to have your own standards, what you do and what you don't do. I find that even some customers through some of them platforms, they will not want to pay you a deposit as well. So that's a bit of a red flag for me as well, because look, being a plumber, yeah, it's like this trade which people say they will pay you later, when paying up front is quite normal. Before you go into a restaurant, let's say you go to McDonald's or something like that, not that that is a restaurant, but you go into McDonald's, you pay for your food, you wait, and then you get your food. What's wrong with that? You know the food's happening. Unless there's a foreseen problem when it comes to installing something, like we've picked up the wrong part, we have not got enough pressure for it to work or something like that. I get it. But I can always ask for people's mindset to change, but I can just ask for people to be mindful that we are always trying to work to make situations better for the customer. And we do work for the customer. That is the whole point. But I feel that some of the way how these customers come across to us as plumbers and individuals, it matters, you know, like if someone says, I want something cheap, like I just need it done cheap. When I hear that, for me, the first thing I say is no. Because there's not much things that are cheap nowadays. Like my services are not cheap, my time is not cheap, and my experiences are not cheap neither. They're expensive, all of them. So I like to know what other people think, because I always think about the things what I'm going to say to people, because I know that it's going to play against them when they say, oh, but you charge for a quote. Yes. I think if you go to most places and you want to get your, say you want to get your blinds fitted, they're going to charge you. Quote. You want to get your floor tiled? You need to come out and see it. You need to quote. Oh, a lot of people are quoting. Of course, I get it if you've got the agreement with the quoting, but I do feel that the Facebook, the Instagram, the social media is obviously a place where people have learned to build onto some parts of their business, but it's not where most of us tradespeople get our core work basis from. Yeah? So I would like to know what you think, because this is only my thoughts as a plumber. Appreciate you all for sticking around. Make sure you like, share and subscribe. Got some van talk conversations coming up very soon. Stay safe, be good, and keep subscribing. Smash that notification bell. It's Mr. London Plumber, and I'll see you on the next upload.
Thank you.